flip side, women are the victims of security, education, every bad thing. It is either we are, or like they say, unquote, please, weaker vessel, unquote. You will agree with me that the women in our society have identified their inner strength and have come out en masse, taking charge of the process, firstly of their lives and their economic power, and they are moving forward to take over every entity. What and how do you intend to build upon what the women are already doing? Because at the grassroots level and at the informal sector, women are the ones with the economic power side, and they run the economies. But how do you intend to build on that as a government with legislation and with the machinery in place to help these women stand and stabilize?
Is it very simple? And I'll keep my answer short. Why is it in Nigeria today that majority of business people, they even use language businessmen? In the history of Nigeria, we have never had a system where there are more businessmen than businesswomen. Why is it today we say businessmen? Because they are not doing business. They are doing money laundering. They are stealing government money. When you establish a system of trade, look at our history. When the British were here, you will find Madam Tinubu. You will find, even before the British came, in various communities, go anywhere you go. If you go to any place, and any money that is 100 years old, 200 years old, trader, it's typically women. Because if it's buying and selling, saving money, buying things on credit and paying back, it is women. Efushetan Adewole was the richest woman in the Ibadan kingdom. Despite all the kings and everybody, she was 60% of all the wealth in the place. In my community, my great-great-grandmother was richer than more than half of all Olu combined, of trading with the Portuguese and trading with. It's only when there's cheating that men become the richest people. So if you want to create a system that works, make sure that there is no stealing of government money and passing through people. Go and find out AMCON list. 99.99% of those who take loan and don't pay back are men. And that is why they are putting money in politics, so that you will not remember to get the money back. They will now, recently they said that government has sold Polaris Bank. All those who took money from there, they are sponsoring the election now. They've taken that public money to pay back all the debt and forgot about it. So when you see them donating 100 million at a function, it's just stolen money. So what our government will do is to create cooperatives. When the British were around, they created cooperatives. So for every sector, you had cooperatives. And women will borrow money from this cooperative, they will not go to court, they will pay back. Then they created produce board. You buy something, onions in Kano, you go and sell it in Asaba. You put your money in the bank. Simple as that. You go and borrow money from trade society. We'll bring that system back, where we facilitate trade. But what they are facilitating now is crime. So once you start doing business, women will come up naturally. Go and find out in any bank, in any institution, when they want to get deposit, they ask the women to go for it, because the woman is the person who will take the deposit and deliver it to the manager. The men will run away with it. So the system we want to create is a system that allows women to participate. I became a fellow of the institute in Singapore. I worked in Singapore. And what I found out, when I tell the story of Singapore is, one story they don't tell about Singapore is that majority of the fund managers were women. So when I got to Singapore, I used to have a friend. I hope she can hear me now. Her name is Juntan. She was around 22 years old. So she invited me to her house. And I went there. I was looking at her the way we look at women here. And she was talking to me. She was busy on the computer. She was cooking, put on the computer. Then I asked her, Why are you so busy? She said, you know, I'm a fund manager. I said, I know. She was managing $21 billion from her computer. And she was 22 years old, wearing mini skirt. So, and when I started studying it, I discovered that some of the funds included sovereign wealth funds from different countries, including managing Nigerian external reserve, 22-year-old girl in Singapore. So you must create a system where the woman is not buying the first car because she knows one sugar daddy. That the system is so well balanced that her skill alone can make her do it. And that's the system they don't want to happen. And that system must come to pass.
And I have two questions for Your Excellency, sir. If, by the grace of God, you become the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I have some questions concerning the women and the widow now. That what structure do you have? Again, I want to thank you for the accolades, for all the good comments about women and the soft spot you have for women. We want to say thank you, sir, for acknowledging our details. That's how God made us. Now, sir, you've said so much on the security, economy, and maybe productivity, putting food on the table for the grassroots. We have a lot of problems facing our widows. And because of the economic situation of this country, we realize that 75% of rural women are the father in the house. They are the man. They are the one that bear the brunt, taking care of the women, their children, and all of that. Even the husband, because they have to struggle and fend for their children. We have a lot of widows in the house here, and we have from the Nigerian Air Force, the serving, that lost their wives. And then we discover from past governments that nothing has been done to it. So we want to see what structure you have for women, especially the grassroots, the empowerment. You talked about it, but I want to believe it's on the higher level. You can as well break it down to our level, the grassroots women now, like forming a small scale, getting loan and all of that. And even if they get this loan, at what rate? Will there be any structure or policy given to the banking industry on the bank rates that these women will be getting, so that things can be fair and easy for them? That's for the women. The youth now, sir. I have a foundation that takes care of the youth and the widow. And I discover, Nigerian women, we are out there. Most of us seated here have one foundation taking care of our sisters, our colleagues, in our environment. It saddens my heart when I see young men these days. They don't want to go through the process because of the lifestyle our politicians live. Everybody wants to jump on the street and ride on the biggest car. If you are not on the aristo aspect, you're on the internet, what have you, sir. So I want a structure. I want you to tell us the structure you want to, because it's good you are talking to Nigerian women now. And I'm representing so many women from my state, my husband's state, and all of that, I want you to break it down and tell us. Because I feel from the Ministry of Youth and Sport, or any department that takes care of the youth now, there's supposed to be a counseling department that is solid, that will go through to the grassroots and give all these youths, the young ones, hope. That even when you see me coming out as a presidential candidate today, I didn't just get it I started from somewhere. So there should be a structure that will go to the schools from the ministry, or there may be an organization that is going to create as well, because we want people who have intelligence that can deliver So we want our youth to have a reorientation of, no, these politicians are just there. They want to choose to be stealing government money and bossing around the people here. So please, sir, I want you to answer us the structure you want to put in place. I hope I've communicated. Thank you, sir.
Majority of the widows were not produced by God. They were produced by government failure. So, you're going to take statistics of what is causing death. You will see that government is responsible for most of it. Whether it's war, whether it's road accident, whether it's hospital mishandling of somebody's life, whether it's violence in the community, all are departments of government. Second, when people talk about widows, it took me time to know the meaning of widows, what widow meant. I used to think that a widow is somebody who has lost their husband. And I didn't see that a person who has lost their husband, I didn't understand it to be a big problem. Why? My mother was a widow. My father died when I was 2 years, 3 months. So my mother was a widow, but I didn't know the meaning of a widow because I didn't suffer. So, and my mother was a widow, so what? She would cry from time to time, but we didn't suffer. So what I'm bringing out is that there are widows in London. There are widows in America. America goes to war all the time, and they produce widows in Iraq, in Vietnam, It's the wickedness that follows widowhood that is the problem. Where you work for government, and the person dies, government kicks the family out without finding out where they are going. Somebody has a property, and they are living well, and the man dies. Family, villages, community try to throw the children out and blackmail the widow. That is what is the problem. So there will be a legal framework in this country that is a federal law. There's one thing that we used to have, because Nigeria, we always think our problems are new. Our problems are not new. When the British were here, everybody who had relationship with the government had a life insurance. So if a person was working in Nigerian Railway Corporation and has an accident and dies, the family will cry, but not because of money. Because the government will pay compensation, insurance company will pay compensation. If a person was a teacher and they died teaching or something, even if a person had a motor accident, it was even double payment. But what happened over time? Because I don't want to go into long, complex stories. In fact, one of the reasons why Adewole was able, when he was Minister of Finance, why he was able to finance the Civil War without borrowing, was that he borrowed money we call Provident Fund, money that was meant to compensate civil servants and all of that. He borrowed that money, and after the war, they pay back. So when you run good government, it will be painful to be a widow, but it will not be out of fear of where will I stay? Where will I live? How will the children go to school? When you have good school running, a student with complete parents will come to the school. A widow's child will come to that school too. If you have a hospital that runs, a widow will bring their children to the hospital. They will pay the same amount or no amount at all. So I believe that what is aggravating widowhood in Nigeria is that, one, we are making too many widows because of all these untimely deaths that we are tolerating. Secondly, the system is not welfaristic enough. Imagine somebody was a widow in London. They would not be hungry. If a person was a widow in 1970 in Nigeria, they would not be hungry. So once we restore people's benefits as citizens, and we restore a macroeconomy that is working, What widows will need will be psychological counseling, will be system to rehabilitate them and get them employment, will be skill acquisition and things to keep them busy. Because, like I said, I grew up seeing my mother as a widow. And she wasn't worried about whether we will feed, whether we will go to school. No, that was not the issue. But she was worried about sometimes being lonely. People had to carry her to church. Church women will come to her and say, follow us to church, to keep her busy. Sometimes during the weekend, they'll come and stay in the house and things like that. So I want us to clarify this issue that widowhood will never be poverty in Nigeria in our government. Regarding women, generally the structure for women is the most important structure for our government. There are 3 parts open to women because majority of my siblings are girls. So I'm the only boy now. And what I found out is that the path for women is always 3. Will a woman after school take up a job? Will a woman after school take up a business? Or will a woman after school go into marriage and be a housewife? Those are the 3 questions that young girls, as they're maturing, have to answer. And a responsible government will make it clear that once you come out of school, first you must come out of school on time. Because when you have a 4-year course, you want to be a nurse, you want to be a doctor, 6-year course, you want to be an economist, and you are a girl, and you enter university at the age of 18 or 19, ASU strike will make sure you are in school at 29. If harms girls more than boys, it's a bad thing, but it has a heavier weight on women than men. We will eliminate that. Second, when you come out of school, you have a job. When I met my wife, she was a lawyer, working on her own. And I met her, she was on the other side, I'm on this side. But because I'm a nice guy, she came to my side. But she was a lawyer before I met her. So she knows the same law as I know, slightly better than me. So, in that kind of relationship, there's a limit to which you can be a big man. When the woman herself is a lawyer like you, she's working independently. Where I met her, where she was working, is where she's still working now. Only that she's got a lot of promotion while I remain in one place because I work for myself. So this is how to empower women. So the system that took her to the University of Benin, took her to law school, allowed her to pass, allowed her to get a job and work, has already balanced the relationship between 2 of us. I can only use music to get her attention, not noise. So that is what we need to do for our girls, so that they can stand on the career path, they are strong on their own. Doesn't mean that they are not going to be humble, have a beautiful marriage like I do have, but it will not be out of blackmail. It will be out of love. The third career, the second career is business. Imagine a 22-year-old, 23-year-old graduating as a geologist. I have a niece who graduated as a geologist, a geologist and a chemical engineer. I met her in London. I was asking her, because I was chairman of her wedding, I was asking her, what do you want to be? What do you want to do now with your marriage? She was sitting down there and listing almost 31 opportunities that she had. Well, this company in France wants me. This other person said I should be partnership with. As a young person, she had options. And at the end of the day, from what I'm hearing, it was the husband that went and moved to join her where she went eventually. So we need to create that system for our people. The third one is for some, for cultural reasons, for other reasons. Like my mother, she came from a very comfortable family, from a royal family, but she decided that she wanted to be a housewife. So some will come out and say, I just want to raise my children, and all over the world you have women like that. We must make the economy so good that on the income of one person, a family can be comfortable. Now, regarding youth, the first political action I joined is called Women and Youth Empowerment and Development. We were operating them, going around. And I can tell you, I don't know if you can still see some families in Mogadishu barracks. That time, I was single, my wife was my girlfriend at that time. I did a development program for soldiers' wives and their children, which was to create some money and give to women. They used to go to Ampa, all those places to buy produce and bring to Abuja to sell. And I saw that many of the soldiers' wives were made any more income than their husbands. And many of their children that were out of school, we created programs for them. At that time, it wasn't as risky as this to ride motorcycles, but I bought so many motorcycles for the children, and they were all becoming useful. So I believe, in summary, that 3 things the government must do. They must make the economy so stable and make jobs available. Majority of the interventions that NGOs are doing will not be necessary. NGO will be going to area of encouragement, psychological thing, and all of that. When I was growing up, we had NGOs in Ondo that were working with us. We call them counselors. But they never had to feed us. Because the economy was good, we feed well at home. We only go there to learn career things and skill. And my sister used to go to what they call home economic center, where the women will learn knitting, doing things and all of that. But the people were not hungry. So nowadays, when I go back to those places, the first thing you have to provide is food. So government under us will not fail. Everybody will be able to feed at home in their own house. Then intervention will be for how to make progress, not how to feed the stomach. Thank you.
There's another aspect you seem to have missed in discipline. Because if we are disciplined, people embezzle money cannot get embezzle money. People that went into crime will not have done so. So one of our problems is great indiscipline. So you think about how you are going to tackle that. And in addition, I saw that as you're analyzing insecurity, one of the problems of insecurity, which I want you to address, is drug addiction. Because you see a lot of our youths, they are into drugs. Look at it, like when we do some analysis, you find out that for every family, we have drug addiction. And it's affecting, that's why they go into crime. Under normal circumstances, a very balanced child cannot go into crime. So I want you to, how you intend to address drugs. Although we have a system that they are not working, they are just paying lip service. So I want you to address. And another question I want to ask you is,
the children need role models, but a good home is difficult in a bad economy. Because when you can't provide for the children, they are hungry and you are teaching them manners. It doesn't work that way. When young girls have to find somebody to pay their school fees outside the home, you can't tell them don't go out. So I think we need to empower the families back. Because when I was growing up, the worst that could happen to a poor family was that they would go and live with a relative or an uncle. But nowadays, even the uncle is broke. So you have them roaming about. When I first came to Abuja, I did an interview a few years ago about when I first came to Abuja. When I first came to Abuja, only families used to move to Abuja. Either the man will have a job, the family will move. The woman will have a job, the family will move. There were no young people coming to Abuja to struggle on their own. Now, majority of those who come to Abuja come as lone rangers. They left family at home, and if someone in the family require them to send money to them back home. So instead of parents training their children nowadays, I dare say, it is the children now training their parents. So we need to restore economic power into the family by creating jobs and making families stable.
Very much. Put a round of applause.
All this grammar we speak since morning, all this our big grammar. Grassroots people full for back there. I hear their voice before. Oh, God bless you. I want make we take pidgin pick up. All this wahala, Baba don tell us in report card some days ago. He can't give himself Gosa. I don't know who give am Gosa. You wan enter villa here. Slums dey plenty for Abuja here too much. Women dey carry water for head. No tap water to drink for Abuja. Na here be the capital o. Thank God say former minister dey your side here. How you wan monitor your ministers, your area council chairmen, make them for reply, make them for work for grassroots, make them work for grassroots, because ministers no work at all. All of them, they show us shege. How you wan monitor them? Again, get you.
Make I tell you now. I talk am for NTA yesterday. I say we get one problem for Nigeria. It's called big man problem. Take plane, go Paris, go eat food. When governor dey fight candidate, they go London, go talk am. So they go land for airport, take siren, cover their face, come enter the house. The minister wey dey no dey build, na to dey destroy. No dey build shop, na to go break shop. The problem be say black man no wan live him own life. They build Abuja like say na ogbonge oyibo go come stay here. They build am like say everybody dey work for NNPC. But if you go see Brasilia, where the people of Brazil come build, they build the city like say we be Brazilian. Under our government, when you go see Nyanya, go see Kuje, go see Karu, go see Masaka, when you go Kugbo, go Takushara, go all those places, you go see say you get government. Go Buhari, go everywhere where you now go. You know Abuja has we get three sins where we don't commit for Abuja. Sin number one, we come like American cowboy, come steal baggy people's land. So we come become millionaire, they buy land, they sell land, leave the people where get the land. God no like that kind of thing. That's number one offense we will commit. And our government will correct them. We go give back the people compensation for their land. Second offense we will commit, we say Abuja can't divide them to two. People where they north, where they Amak and Buhari, we can't build estate, build a house for ourselves. People where they south, and then they vote. People where they north, and then they shop the money. So this time, we go change them. Carry the money, go meet the people where they vote for Abuja South. The third problem where we go solve, be say, anything where minister they enjoy, every person where they Abuja go enjoy them. Because minister, they work for government. Gateman, they work for government. Typist, go work for government. Government car, go carry minister for government house. Put government air conditioner. Carry am go government office. When you don't finish in work, carry am go house. But the person where they carry file, if you dey in front federal secretariat, they stay there wait for motor wey no go come. If they go house wey no go light, you go pay rent wey big pass his own salary. We never build estates since the time wey dem build Games Village. They come share am among themselves. When we come, we go build 1 million houses every year for Abuja. So if water dey for villa, water go dey for Kuje. Anything wey we enjoy, na one city, one condition. Now I tell you now.
There's a great woman every day when I listen to her, I respect her. She's late today, but she's an icon. She said something about, she said, when we fail, let's embrace change. And when we're embracing change, let's work for change. And today, that's the step that the women have taken to search for a good governance. I'm so grateful today that I'm a participant, and which is one of the characteristics of a good governance. So, Your Excellency, one of the characteristics again for a good governance is equity and inclusiveness. I grown up as a child, every time they said, she no fit do am, she's disabled. I hated those languages. And today I thank God that I'm a professional. So, by the grace of God, if you become a president today, in terms of equity and inclusiveness, what do you have for a person with disability? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Everybody is a person with disability. Otherwise, I won't be wearing glasses. So the first thing you need to know is that your ability may be my disability. And my disability may be your ability. So we should first stop discriminating about people's disability. All of us have one problem or the other in our lives. So we will give people disability with confidence. Secondly, when I was in law school, I had a student called Linus who was completely blind. And he passed the same bar with me. And some of those who have eyes didn't pass. But the blind person, Linus, passed the bar and is still practicing law today. Three, when you go to my employment, you will see people with disability there. Blind people, other people. So I don't have any problem with that. The only thing I will say is that in America, as a lawyer, there's something called ADA, Americans with Disability Act. What does it mean? You cannot say everybody is welcome, including those with disability. But you don't have public transport. How would the person who cannot walk, how are they going to move around? You design buildings, wheelbarrows cannot go, wheelchairs cannot go, other things that people with disability use to travel cannot go. You write memos without braille. So in our government, we will not just say people with disability are welcome. We will make sure that every tool that they require to work. But let me tell you something. One of the greatest physicists is a disabled person. In Nigeria today, we have won more Olympic medals from Paralympics than from those who say they have 2 legs and 2 arms and everything. So there is no limit to what we can do, but we must do beyond talking. We must provide facilities for people who have challenges, physical challenges or mental challenges. That's my answer to it.
Thank you very much. Just a round of applause for Your Excellency. Thank you very much. So I have 2 persons from the podium.
Well, let me begin by commending the organizers of this conference. I think this conference is coming at the right time and the right day. So today is Saturday, so we go for confession before the Reverend Father today. So what the women are doing here, that they are coming for confession, that all the bad leaders in this country, we have used our majority to create them. But we have realized that we misapplied our majority and we are asking sensitive and positive questions as to how we'll move the country forward, especially when we look at the clip. I'm a very handsome person, but I'm very ugly in the mouth. The truth about the Nigerian situation is that the bad government we are dealing with is created by the dictatorship of the majority. And the dictatorship of the majority is women. Like the president said, I grew up with my grandmother. So I called my mother auntie. Because it was my mother, a grandmother who was my mother. So I'm very, very conversant with women. But I perform most of the responsibilities of women even at this age. So my advice to this conference is that let us confess the sin of Maggie. Maggie are not given to men. Let us confess the sin of slippers. It's not given to men. Let's confess the sin of the back of rice given. And we should also confess the sin of Lapa, which they are sharing. These things I named are the things that brought us to where we are. And if women in this meeting today said no to these things, there is nobody, I emphasize, there is nobody that will ascend the throne of this country. So when we sit here and we begin to appropriate blames, we should start by looking inwards. Because there is an adage in Hausa that if you find somebody crying, don't just start sympathizing with the person. Ask carefully. The circumstances that led to the cry would have been created by the person. I think today we have opened a new vista to the issue of leadership in this country. All what women are going through, what I'm taking here is that women have decided that we will end the victimology theory today. Because women with their numerical strength have always been victims. And they accepted this victimology each time they cried. So I think the men have overstepped their boundaries. And they have given the women the opportunity to make this country move forward. If Nigeria, for any reason, fail again, I will look at my 87-year mother and I will blame her. Because your majority has not helped us. I've never seen anywhere in the world where people have a majority and then they are always victims. But I think women should talk more to themselves. Talk more to yourself and continue with this engagement. Continue with it because it is going to help this country. For those who have been captured and in the hands of bandits, the majority are women and our daughters, we pray for them to be released. For widows, whom today we have populated the population of this country with widows, we also pray that we have a good president who will be a father to all. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I pray that God will deliver Nigeria.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate your.
Thank you very much. A patriarchal society is a society that gives precedence to the male gender over the female gender. But you have something different in Ghana, where they have a patriarchal society. But most societies in the world are patriarchal in nature. And I think when you look at the origin of that kind of structure, it's simply a product of an era when the strongest people are the ones that were leading the societies, whether as warriors or as hunters, etc. You discover that men, the male folk, are stronger physically. So that is how the origin of man being the dominant person in society emerged. When there is war, they won't call women. Some societies do, like Queen Amina of Zaria, she was a warrior.
But in most societies, men are the warriors. When there are hard jobs to do, difficult jobs to do, you want to cut trees, you want to make a road, it is men that will be called upon. So that was how, and then in farming, a lot of the hard work in the farms, it was the male folk that were doing them, while women have to take care of children. Because naturally, by the way God created them, it's only women who can breastfeed, and so on. But you can see that the evolution of human society is already raising women, higher. Because today, there are so many jobs that women can do and make good money, other than cutting trees, or trying to clear roads, or serving as warriors. So it has been changing, and I think education is an equalizer, like our presidential candidate said, that if every woman, every girl child can be given opportunity to have access to education, to be able to realize her potentials to the fullest. Like his wife, he used his wife as an illustration. My own wife has an MBA and she majors in finance, and she has worked with Pan Ocean Oil, she has worked with ICANN, she has worked with bank. It was when she got married to me and the need for proximity required she should leave a well-paying job, that she came to the university and became finance officer to the biggest faculty in the university, Faculty of Law. So what we need is to empower our women right from the time that they are little children, through education, equal opportunities. And when you do that, the issue of society being patriarchal or whatever will fade into the dustbin of history. But I must still say that we are a highly religious society. If you are a Christian, the husband is the head of the family, just as Christ is the head of the church. Every human organization, including a family, which is the smallest unit of organizations in human society, must have a clear leader. It is not because one person is superior to the other. Prince Adewole is our presidential candidate. We all defer to him. When he becomes president by the grace of God, we all give him the honor due him. But it doesn't mean that maybe he's the most educated among us, or that he is the oldest. He's younger than some of us, but he's a brilliant person and is the one God has raised up to be leader at this time. And we must give him his dues. Therefore, in our homes too, for peace, for harmony, it is good we recognize, depending on your religion or whatever you believe in, that somebody should be given the position of headship. It's not because somebody else is inferior, but that is how orderliness can be attained, even in the family. On the issue of the other one you raised, what was that thing you mentioned?
You have answered the question, basically.
I've also answered the question.
Yes, you have, because you spoke on character and
Yes, sir.
character and compassion.
Character and compassion. Yes, I've listened to the presidential candidate talking about that in various fora. What he means by character and compassion is that you can be a leader, you are a professor, you have 3 PhDs in so many areas, and you can articulate a great manifesto that when people listen to you, they say, this man will solve our problems. But this man doesn't have character. What is character? That it includes integrity. It includes fidelity to your promises. That I've said this. I told somebody recently, an uncle who borrowed some money from me, and he's in America, and he has not paid. And I'm telling him, you are earning in dollars, I'm earning in naira, and you are owing me something you say you will refund in 3 months. And I told him something. I said, if I borrow money and I tell you I will give you back at the end of the month, if I discover that it will be very difficult for me to do so, I would rather go and look for money in another way and pay you back than disappoint you. That is what we call fidelity. It's also part of character. That is, when he says something, you can take his word to the bank. You will find it so. When he promises you good health centers, he promises you security, he will do it. That is character. A man without character is like a floating leaf that is tossed here and there. And then compassion is what will lead him to reach out and do the needful to the suffering masses.